Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video talking about my first impressions for No Rest for the Wicked. I have about 10 hours in the game so far. I think it's been out for about 2 days. And I know we're only in early access right now, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. Because they have been pumping out updates every single day, fixing some bugs and stuff in the game. But I wanted to give you just a little overview of my personal experience with the game so far. Starting with the pros. So, first of all, the game is actually very fun. The gameplay is fun. Gameplay is heavy. I know there's multiple different types of weapons in the game, but I'm currently using a great sword. Um, the hits feel heavy. They feel weighty. It feels like your hits matter. Um, but it also feels like if you fail a dodge or fail a hit or something, you definitely pay the price for it. So it's a pretty difficult game. I have died multiple times in the game. The exploration in the game is very fun. This game's main town, which you get to after the first area, is massive. This is probably one of the biggest towns I've seen in like one of these ARPG games in a while. It's got like 3 levels to it pretty much. There's the slums, there's the main marketplace town, then there's the towers up on high. Um, and the areas are pretty unique so far. The ones I've been to so far are I've beaten the first 2 story bosses and one main side quest boss. It was a voice acted side quest, which is pretty cool. I'll get into the voice acting and stuff in a second. But I've been to the main area. There's the shores jungle type area. Then after the main town, there's like a quarry area. And for the side quest, you actually go into the sewers of the town, which is its own whole dungeon. And that's not including one of the levels of the town. I'm telling you, this town is massive. It's crazy. The bosses in these areas are pretty fun. The side quest boss was the hardest one, in my opinion, out of the 3 I've fought so far. He's the only one that has had 2 phases. The 2 main story bosses I've fought so far have not. I haven't found any of the bosses that difficult so far. The enemies I've died to a bunch, and the areas, but the bosses, I've one-shot all of them. I haven't died to a single one so far. So, not to say they're bad bosses. They are very fun, but I don't know. Some of their attack patterns are pretty simple, not too hard to dodge. Maybe they'll get harder as the game progresses, but we'll have to see. Okay, next I wanted to talk about the weapons. It is an ARPG game. There are a bunch of customizable stuff you can do to your weapons and gear. Weapons have skills. You can have 4 skill slots, and weapons can also have runes on them. I think they can have a max of 3 runes on them. I'm not sure yet. I haven't gotten far enough to know. All I know is that weapons have, obviously they have rarity ranges. Like there's common, uncommon, rare. I think epic is purple, and then legendary are the yellow ones, as in most games, most loot games. I haven't really found any other. I haven't gotten far enough to be able to customize in detail any of the skills and runes. I've been holding off on that until I get like better weapons, because so far I got lucky when I beat the first boss. I got his legendary weapon drop. Apparently that's not 100% guaranteed. I didn't know that, so I'm happy I got that, because it came with 4 skills and 3 runes on it. So I've been just using that because it's like one-shotting everything in the game. There's a bunch of different weapon types. I haven't used everything so far, but there's daggers, shields, one-handed swords, two-handed swords, axes, two-handed axes. There's katanas. There's curved swords, curved great swords. There's maces, there's staves, there's a whole bunch of different weapons in this game, and they all have their own different varying attack animations, stuff like that. Again, I haven't tried out anything. I mainly stuck to Sword and Shield and Greatsword. I used the katana for a little bit, but I went back to my greatsword, not because I think the katana was bad, but because I dumped all my skill points into strength because I have that legendary two-handed sword. One thing I don't like is that they separated equip load from, like, when you're leveling up for stats. You know, you have your HP, stamina, strength, dexterity, intelligence, stuff like that. They have equip load as a separate thing. They didn't put it under like an endurance thing or anything like that, which is kind of annoying because equip load is something you have to worry about in this game because it affects your dodge, just like in normal Dark Souls games. And the fact that I have to put skill points into just equip load, and you only get 3 skill points for a level, I don't know. Personally, I find that kind of annoying. I wish it was tied to another skill like it is in most other games like this. Well, that just might be a me thing. The art style of the game. The art style isn't anything like super unique or special, but I personally really like it. I think the art style is really, really cool. But yeah, the cutscenes, the transitions to the cutscenes are pretty cool too. I like how it just goes right into them, and it doesn't really change the art style, but it changes the motions of the characters and stuff. You'll see it when you play the game, or in I think I show a cutscene here at the end. But the movement during the cutscenes and all that, all the animated stuff, it looks pretty cool. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I think it's the last pro I wanted to talk about, is the NPCs. The NPCs in this game, I think, are amazing. Even the NPCs walking around town, random characters, not only do they all have names, they all have multiple voiced dialogue lines. Like some of them have up to four separate whole voice dialogue lines. The NPCs are pretty unique. They all have their different thoughts on everything that's happening. Whenever you do anything in the game, almost all the dialogue of the NPCs changes in town. Like you'll be at one story point, and then you'll be at one story point, you'll go talk to a few main story people that you have to talk to, and then you'll go back around town and talk to the NPCs, and they'll all have something to say about what just happened and stuff like that. It's even for the side quest boss I fought. Even during that whole side quest thing, people were still talking about it. They were still, like, based on what was happening in that side quest. Which, again, I think it still was a side quest because it wasn't where I was supposed to go next, at least in terms of the overarching story, but it was all still voiced. So I just assumed it was a side quest because it was out of the way. But the NPCs still talked about that stuff, so I thought that was pretty cool. Alright, now we're going to get into the cons of this game. The first con, which really bothers me because I love having it, especially in an ARPG game, is there's no mini-map. There's no mini-map in this game, so you have to constantly be opening your menu or pausing the game to open the map. The reason why I find this weird and annoying is just the fact that you have markers you can put on your map, but since you have no mini-map, you can't really... You're still going to have to pause the game to figure out where you're going, is what I'm trying to say. Like, what's the point of having the markers specifically to have different points to go to if there's no mini-map to look at them, so you don't have to keep opening the menu over and over again. Another thing is that the main quest line and the side quests have the same map icon. There's no, like... You know, most of these games where you have an open map and stuff like that, normally they'll either side quest and main quest will have different colors, different symbols, stuff like that. Now, in this game, they look exactly the same. So it's like if you, for some reason, take a break from the game and you come back and you forgot what you were doing, you won't really know what the main story quest is versus what the side quests are, unless you read through all the... If you have multiple quests, you have to go to the quest page and read through each one and try to remember what was happening. That might be something that just bothers some people. I don't know, it bothers me. I kind of would like to know my side quests and my main story quests, because I like to explore everything in these games, as much as I can at least. All right, a big con, and a lot of people are experiencing this. I've been lucky; I haven't even been experiencing it that badly, but it's lag. The game has a lot of lag issues, but at least for me, it's lag in weird locations. It's not like I never lag during a fight. I never lag during a boss fight, which is great. But I'll lag if I run through too fast through an area, if I run too fast through town. Sometimes I'll lag randomly when the lighting changes because this game is a day and night system. When the rays of the sun come in, that seems to be the worst of the lag. I don't know why it happens. It's really weird because it's only in specific places for me. Um, Another thing I want to talk about is there's some bad animation in the game for specific things. Again, combat is amazing. I don't really think there's any bad animations for enemy attacks or character attacks or dodging or anything like that. I haven't found any issues with that. But weird animations for like collection stuff and some terrain issues. So, like for example, fishing. When you're fishing in this game, you throw a rod out into the water. There's like a little fishing spot. It'll tell you top of the screen, press triangle or Y or whatever you're using to fish. And the fishing rod, depending on your angle, well, it'll still work. You'll still fish like normal, but it'll like go flying in a weird direction because it seems to always set to the same distance. So like I'll throw the fishing rod out, being standing at the edge of a platform to fish, and the fishing rod will just like float in the air or it'll stick into a rock. And then I just have to wait for my controller to shake to be able to know when to pull out. It's a little janky animation there. Sometimes when I'm shoveling, my shovel will just disappear. My character will get in a fighting stance, and it seems to like when you're shoveling or mining or cutting wood, there's like a health bar based on because there's different rarities of tools you get when you're collecting stuff, and it'll go faster depending on the higher rarity thing you have. And like it seems to like cut into the time because the animation gets screwed up, so it's not consistent. And it's really weird because it happens sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I'll like fall off a cliff or something and I'll get stuck in terrain and like I can't get out of it, but then I'll randomly just pop out doing the same thing I was trying for the past 5 minutes, and then I'll just get out. Like I'll like fall off a ledge and get stuck between the wall and like a wooden plank that's sticking out, and I can't get out, and then all of a sudden my character will just pop out. That also leads into the next point, which is the only thing I found kind of annoying about combat is sometimes I'll get CC chained randomly on different terrains, and then I'll just die, which I think just ties into some of the bad animations sometimes when you're just like moving through some terrain. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that there's a lot of the areas have a lot of different levels to them, so you're going to be doing a lot of climbing. And since that's the case, there are a lot of ledges in this game, and you do take fall damage in this game. You can straight up die from fall damage. And so there's no mechanic to stop you from falling off a ledge if you accidentally walk towards it or anything. So if you're sprinting, and when you're sprinting off a ledge, it's the only way you can jump off a ledge. That's the only way you can jump in this game. You have to be sprinting, and you have to go off a ledge. But since that's the case, and there's no button to press, sometimes you'll randomly just accidentally jump off a ledge, and you'll fall 50 feet, and you'll just die. And that's really annoying, because in this game, there is weapon and gear durability, and it goes down when you die. So sometimes you'll just fall off a ledge, and then boom, there goes 1/4 of your weapon and gear durability, and then you have to go and pay to get that fixed at the blacksmith. So you just lose money doing that if you just died accidentally falling off a ledge. Same issue when you're sidling. Sidling is when you're like hugging a wall and you're shimmying across. Again, there's no button to push to start. There's a button to push to start shimmying, but it doesn't lock you into the shimmy. So like if you're shimmying across a ledge and they're using like an analog stick on a controller, and you accidentally push by accident, you hit your analog stick off the ledge, your character will straight up just fall off the ledge and die. Which is, I find that stupid. Again, because you just lose durability off that. You have to go pay, get it fixed, all that stuff. But yeah. The next thing I wanted to talk about, another con, is inventory space. You have very limited inventory space, and there's a lot of materials you gotta pick up. It's really annoying because it's constant back and forth between town and collecting stuff, and there's so many new different things. I think you only start off with like 15 inventory slots, 15 or 20, and there's like 50 items in like the first area. And you have to, the only way to increase your inventory slot, and it'll only increase by I think 4 more times, is you have to use your blood ichor on it. And a blood ichor is something you get from beating bosses in the game, like main story bosses or even the side quest bosses. I've gotten them for. And instead of using it to, you know, get another weapon slot, get another shield slot, get another ring slot, open up other inventory stuff, you have to use it to open up just 5 inventory slots. And there's 3 different inventories, or 4 different inventories, I think, because there's a mystic one for like furniture you put in your house. So there's 4 different inventories that you have to unlock slots for, and you have to spend boss material. You have to spend those boss ichors you get. And I assume there's a limited amount of them in the game, because you only get them from main bosses and side quest bosses. So I gotta waste my ichor unlocking those slots, and then next thing you know, it's only 5 more slots, and there's like 10 more items in the new area, so that it's all filled up again already. So that was just something else that I found annoying. It's like, maybe make it so I only have to spend 1 ichor and it upgrades a couple of slots in every single inventory, or something. I'm not really sure how they could fix that. They could combine the inventory slots. Maybe they could keep gear separate and then keep food and the materials together. I think they do that in The Witcher. I could be wrong. But just something to make it so I don't have to spend all my ichor just unlocking inventory slots instead of getting new slots for my weapons or new ring slots to put on my character. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, if you're going to upgrade a weapon at the blacksmith, there's no way to know what the benefits of that upgrade is going to be until you spend the materials to upgrade it. So you can't see a beforehand. Like, you can't see a before the weapon before an upgrade and the weapon after an upgrade. You can't do that. I don't know why. It's kind of stupid, because I would like to know what's going to be the gain I'm going to get from upgrading this item versus upgrading another item. They don't give me that. So that's something else I think they should add to this game. And another thing, again, involving weapons, I know I mentioned it earlier in the pros, the weapon skills. Every weapon has 4 skill slots. My issue with this is that you can't see what the weapon skills do. At least I didn't find a way to hover over the weapon, look at the weapon skills or anything like that. Maybe I missed it. This I could be wrong about. Maybe there's someone in town I didn't talk to. Excuse me. Someone in town I didn't talk to, and I just couldn't. I missed it. That's just my bad. This is my bad. This point, then, if that's the case, but you can't tell what your weapon skills do until you use them, and then you don't know what the exact percentages or numbers are on them, because I have no way to view them. You can't view them in your inventory. You can't view them at the blacksmith. I don't know how to see the weapon skills and what they actually do. I just have to use them in combat and hope they do what I think they do. Other than that, I know they made a few updates in the past few days. Some of the things they fixed, they definitely fixed gear durability. Gear durability is fixed. You don't lose nearly as much. I think they increased the stamina. The stamina was an issue. Some people were complaining about stamina. I didn't have an issue with it before they fixed it, but I think they made things cost a little bit less stamina, which is nice. I'm never going to complain about that. But overall, I am very much enjoying this game. The gameplay is super fun. The bosses are fun. The world is interesting. The characters are good. Just a few little things that I think they should fix. It's mainly issues. I don't have any issues with the gameplay. I have issues with the systems in the game, if that makes sense. The inventory system, the customizing system, shops, things you can do in shops, upgrades, stuff like that. The mini map not being there, having to constantly open my main map to look around and see what I have to do. Especially because a lot of these areas have multiple layers. It's really annoying having to open the map just to see if I can, like, where I need to trace my steps back or anything like that. If I need to be on the next level, the lower level, stuff like that. It would be nice having the mini map, just so I wouldn't have to do that every time. But other than that, I am very much enjoying this game, and I see they are very dedicated to trying to make this game as good as possible, considering it's been out for 2 days and they've released a patch every 2 days. My game has been patching on Steam 2 days in a row. So I know that they're trying their best to try to make this a good game. But yeah, that's about everything I wanted to talk about, guys. If there's anything I missed or anything I got wrong, anything you disagree about, just let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys.